Okay, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay. Uh, I don't have syllabus. I think you have syllabus copy with you. I think I've seen the syllabus content.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we'll discuss very briefly about what is uh, urban hydrology, and then next class onwards we'll go as per syllabus, right? Syllabus is designed in such a way that you will not find all content in a single textbook, right? So you don't worry. Uh, I think you can search in through Google, and you will find some articles and some, not only a textbook, some other materials. Okay, so that you read, and uh, finally exam will also be conducted on that only. Okay, uh, so urban hydrology deals mainly how the urban development affects the hydrologic cycle. Uh, so you might have seen in newspaper many times for a small rain also the whole city is flooded with water, and all roads will become a just like a canals. Okay, and even in our campus also last I think last rain, water was there more than a week. Okay, such type of situation is there. So this subject is to deal those challenges. Okay, uh, how the rainwater can be uh, disposed from the city safely without causing any damage to the structures or cause any inconvenience to the public. Okay, that is a very challenging task. So even we don't have drainage in our campus. Last rain I have seen, I think not more than I'm not sure. It is a week. I think it was there 3 4 days. Water was there in entire campus. Okay, and not entire campus, some patches of some parts of the campus. So it causes many problems. Okay, it is the then it will be the suitable location for growing mosquitoes. Okay, and waterborne diseases. Okay, and many such type problems may come because of those stagnation of the water. Okay, and maybe the drinking water pipes are there is a chances of mixing of this drain water with drinking water, right? And then that causes some problems, right? uh, Even if you see big cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Calcutta, so this is a very serious problem, especially uh, I think maybe I'm not sure the exact year. I think couple of years back we have seen the Chennai city how it was flooded. Okay, this is the very frequent problem in Mumbai. For a small amount of rain, the roads are flooded with water, and there some casualties also occur because pedestrians cannot see the manholes because of the water, and suddenly he will go into the manhole, right? And maybe some cars also flooding away, right? So causes so many problems, right? So what is the main reason for this is because we are uh, obstructing the natural drains, right? So if you see a natural watershed where there is no development, so if you can say there is a virgin land, there is no development. So the natural drains are intact. Okay. So if rain falls, the water will move through a natural drains, okay, and it will, I mean, meet to the main streams, okay, and there is a less chance to stagnate on the land, okay. Either it go as a infiltration and it will, or it will go to the stream and finally joins the mainstream, okay, uh, or it will go to the ponds. There may be a small patches of, I mean, depression storage may also takes place, right? So that is the case when there is a natural watershed, right? uh, you will not find even any for any amount of rainfall, so you will not find any problem because drains are there, okay, so the drains are intact, right? So the water collected from the upper catchment and it will move to the first order drain and then second order drain, third order and fourth and fifth order drains. You know the order of the drains, right? uh, so whereas if that comes to a city, if that area is developed, right, and you know how we will develop, okay, so we will not give respect to the nature. We will construct the building as per our wish, right? We will construct buildings across the drains. We will close the drains, right? And because of that, there is no let off, no escape of storm water. So obviously, if there is no let off, then what will happen? The water will be stagnated, and also because of the roads and the paved roads, and because urbanization uh, can decrease infiltration capacity, and there is no less chance of going into infiltration also, okay. So we have blocked the surface drains, and also we have blocked the uh, I mean water infiltrating into the soil. So there is no chance except evaporation, right? So therefore, until it get evaporated, the water will be there only, okay. Maybe a little bit water will go into the ground and little bit water go on to through the surface, okay. So because of this one, the problem occurs, right? So how to deal this problem, okay. How to deal this problem? So even before development stage, we should plan the city uh, accordingly, right? So we should plan the city, say, identify the natural streams, right? And there should not be any activity in those patches of natural streams, right? And there should be some, you have to maintain some, I mean, temporary storage. When there is a storm occur, then collect the water temporarily, okay, and release it a safer place through a network of pipes, okay. And this type of planning should be can reduce the damage when such type of event occur, okay. And we have another challenge also there, how to dispose of the wastewater. So we use the water, okay, and the wastewater should be disposed safely, okay, through the network of pipes, or closed pipes, or open pipes, I mean open drains, right? And sometimes this storm water and drain water will also mix, right? So it causes a lot of problems, okay. There are some guidelines that you cannot dispose the wastewater into the streams just like that, okay. So before releasing this wastewater into a river or sea, you have to treat that water properly, okay, maintain some standards, okay, and then release, okay. So these are the some of the issues when it comes to the urban hydraulics. That's why this is very very important, and it is very challenging also, right? uh, a very interesting topic also, okay. So first, you should have a clear understanding what is hydrologic cycle, what are the various components of the hydrologic cycle, what is the water budget, okay. uh, what is I mean water budget means say suppose just like a budget means like if you have uh, mm, a budget in your home, like you know the salary, how much salary you will get, and you know how much what is the expenditure, okay. And then what is the saving, okay. If you know these things, you can manage your income uh, wisely. Similarly, if you know the water budget of a urban water budget, okay, then you can easily tackle these challenges issues, right. So therefore, first for any not only urban water budget, say for example, in industry is there also they do water budget, right. So what is the water coming into the industry and what is the expenditure, okay. So once you have a idea of this water budget, and then you can easily design the drains, right, and all those things, right. So this is the what is after the end of this subject, see, what is our main objective is, so once you know the basic principles, concepts of the urban hydrology means, so you know the hydrology, you have studied the hydrology in engineer BTech, okay. uh, Hydrologic cycle, what are the various components of the hydraulic cycle, so that's starting from precipitation, evaporation, infiltration, transpiration, and depression storage, right, and groundwater flow, interbase flow, okay, surface runoff, and how do you measure the infiltration, how do you measure the runoff, how do you measure the evaporation, right. And if you know all those things, right, and then you can easily design a drainage system for a urban city, okay, in such a way that if there is a rain occurs, there should not be any submergence in the cities. Whatever the rain falls on the city, it should be collected through your network of drainage system, and it will safely disposed either into the stream or into the sea if it is a city is nearer to the sea, or it can be collected and treated and can be used for the drinking water, or it can be diverted to a irrigation purpose if there is any agriculture land is there, right, or it can be used for a gardening. So whatever the possibility is there, okay. So that is the main objective. What is as a urban as a civil engineer, uh, you should design the drainage system for entire the city in such a way that as I said earlier, so all the storm water should be collected safely, and it will be reused after treating that water, okay. So not only you can reuse, so you can minimize the I mean inconvenience to the public, right. uh, there may be some casualty also because of this one, that also you can avoid, right. And if that water is stagnated near the city, maybe we don't know that may cause danger to the structure also, okay, because of this one, okay. So all those things we can minimize, okay. This urban water can damage the roads also. So you can see after the frequent of rain, the roads, there will be a lot of potholes, okay. So that potholes causes again some inconvenience, some casualty also, right, okay. And therefore every after the rainfall, every time, so those potholes should be filled, okay. So a lot of money is also invested in maintenance of the road if there is a proper drainage facility is there in a city. If there is a proper drainage facility is there in a city, so the maintenance cost can be drastically reduced because less potholes, because the rain once fall, it's automatically going into the drain, okay, and there is a no chance of stagnating the water. So when the potholes are created, when the water is stagnated on the road, okay, it will loosen the bitumen and the soil, okay, and then a pothole is created, right? So if there is no water is stagnated, that may not happen, right? So there is a lot of advantage. You know, big cities spends a lot of money, crores of money every year on maintaining these roads because of this submergence of water, right? So you can save that money if you have the proper drainage network, right? But see, this is practically possible, but so you know the cities because lack of proper guidelines are there, okay, so some may not follow guidelines. The strict guidelines should be maintained in a city while constructing in a house, okay. You should follow some guidelines, and there should be some space should be allocated for some other purposes, where should be the development takes place, okay. So all those things you have to see, but that's not happening in India because of many reasons. Because say if there is a pond is there, okay, natural pond is there. Slowly, some people get occupied those areas and they start building the apartment houses there. Okay, and where that water will go, right? So it will be remain. It will go to the some other places on the roads. Okay, once that pond was completely filled with soil, and if you construct the some development takes place on that land, so earlier the maybe amount of water stored in those places where it will be on the road, okay. So that is the things, that is the main reason why this lot of flooding is taking place in cities, like okay. uh, so this so it is a political issue, an engineering problem, and psychological problem, sociology issues also there. Okay, so this is a complex problem. So there are so many subject experts involved in this one. Okay, uh, so but as a civil engineering, we deal with only the engineering aspects problem, not political and other aspects problem, right? So that is about this subject, urban hydrology. So urban hydrology, once you have the fundamentals of this urban hydrology, uh, you can able to design a drainage network for a city. Okay, there are a number of softwares available, like a stormwater management system is there, right? So that software can be used to design the drain. So designing of the drain means uh, what should be the cross section of the drain, what is the longitudinal section of the drain, right? Where are the junction nodes, right? And all those things you have to uh, design, okay, using this software, okay. uh, this for this one, what data you should know? You should know the rainfall data, right? For 2 years or 4 years return period. So generally, we take for a design of a drainage system, we take 2 years return period, or small year return period will take 2 or 4 years, something like that. Okay. So when we design a dam across the river, so what is the return period? We generally take 100 years, 150 years return period we take. But whereas in the urban drainage network system, we take a 2 years return period or 4 years return period, right? So because 2 years, you know what is the return period means. So the 2 years return period means the amount of rainfall may equal or exceed once in a 2 years. Okay, so that amount of rainfall. So 100-year return period means on an average, the that that amount may occur once in 100 years, right? So if you take a return period is high, the value of that precipitation or maybe a flow in a river will be high, right? If you take a return period less, so the magnitude or value of that rainfall or whatever it may be, the that will be less, comparatively less, right? So generally we adapt. So this one, smaller return period. So for that return period, we'll design all those things. Okay, what other data we should have? We should know what is the infiltration and what is the evaporation, and then uh, DEM, digital elevation model of the entire city. I mean, that is what DEM means. What is the survey? You have to do survey. What are the levels at different points? Okay, so that we should have. Okay, and what model you want to use to calculate the runoff? There are, we know, different models are there. Like SES method is there, and there are number of models are there. Okay, empirical models are also there. Okay, which model you will use? Okay, so to calculate the runoff, right? So once you do this one, the software will give you automatically what should be the cross section of the pipe, uh, what is the longitudinal slope, okay, where we have to provide the junctions, okay. So all those things, that network can be designed, okay. So that will be very interesting. If you can see any case study, uh, uh, just I am trying to uh, uh, arrange one 1 hour or 1.5 hour session on a case study with a field engineers, okay, who is working in a field or design part. Okay, so let us see how it will go, right? So this is about what urban hydrology. Okay, so let us see what is the urban water budget. Okay, uh, water budget describe the store or volume of water in the surface, subsurface, and atmospheric compartment of the environment over a chosen increment of time. Okay, chosen increment of time, right? So that is the volume of water in the surface. I mean, surface means on the ground, subsurface means in groundwater as a groundwater, and atmospheric as a moisture, right? Rain, or you can say. So in all these three compartments, okay, volume of water stored all these three compartments for a chosen increment of time. It may be a 1 day, or it may be a 1 hour, or it may be a monthly, or it may be a yearly. Okay. So just like how do you calculate our financial budget for a month, right? Salary is will get in every month. Similarly, in here also you can calculate is a yearly or monthly or day or 1 hour, whatever the you want, right? The water cycle has to do with characterizing the flow paths and flow rates of water from one store to the another. Okay, so that is a broad definition of the hydrologic cycle. Water cycle has to do with characterizing the flow path and flow rates of water from one store to the another. So you know hydraulic cycle, okay? So it goes from one phase to the another phase, right? And then it is a I mean, if you start describing this from the evaporation, so that evaporation, that process, it will become a, and then precipitation, right? And then it will become a uh, runoff, right? Groundwater, and again join the river, and the river join the sea. Again, it will go as evaporation. So one path to the other path. Okay. So understanding how urbanization affect the water budget and water cycle first requires an appreciation of how conditions work in a natural system. Okay, so before understanding how the urbanization affects water budget and water cycle. First, we will see how this is happened in a natural system. Okay, so then only we can see what is the effect of the urbanization, isn't it? First, uh, we want to uh, feel the effect of urbanization on hydrologic cycle or water budget. So first we should know without urbanization how the water cycle look like, how the water budget will look like in a natural, I mean, a pre-development stage before urbanization, right? This is, I think, everybody knows. We keep hearing this since our childhood how the idol cycle. Okay, uh, there is no starting point, no end point. Okay, so this what is the driving force? This is the sun is the driving force, right? Say for our convenience, we'll start explaining this idol cycle, say from the uh, ocean. Let us say evaporation uh, takes place from the ocean because of the radiation coming from the sun, right? And then that evaporation will move up, right? And it will move later also, right? And once if it is evaporation is moving up where the temperature falls below the freezing point, so then condensation takes place, and then then precipitation takes place, and the precipitation falls on some natural trees also. Okay, uh, and while falling the water, the evaporation also takes place. So after that, after meeting all those losses, if the precipitation falls on the ground, and then infiltration takes place. So once the infiltration is satisfied, and then precipitation start flowing over the ground. Okay, so that is called surface runoff, and this surface runoff slowly join the streams. Okay, that streams will join the rivers, and the river join the ocean, and the infiltrated water also join the ground, and there it meets the groundwater, and this groundwater also moves laterally and join the rivers and also streams. Okay, so that is how hydrologic cycle, that's we all know it. Okay, how the this cycle happens, right? Water budget or water mass balance can be calculated for any time increment for a chosen control volume. Okay, so this is a famous equation, right? Inflow minus outflow is equal to change in storage, right? Uh, for a natural system, what is the control volume is often defined laterally by watershed boundaries, okay, topographic heights, okay, and vertically from top of vegetation to the bottom extent of water-bearing surface sediment or fractured rock. Okay, uh, so the natural boundaries, say, like we have geographical boundaries, right? Say, for example, our India is divided into states, and states again divided into districts. Districts are divided into mandals, right? And then village boundaries, like that. So these are the political boundaries. These are the political boundaries. And natural boundaries, okay. Uh, so the water, while I mean for developing any model. ఒక నిమిషం. సార్ సార్ చెప్పండి సార్. అవునా సార్, నాకు చూడలేదు సార్, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను సార్. అలాగా. ఆహా, చూడలేదు. ఓకే. అనంతపురికి మనకే సార్. హలో
సార్.
సడన్గా మీటింగ్ పెట్టారమ్మా, నేను మీటింగ్ జాయిన్ అవ్వమంటున్నారు. సో ఐ విల్ టేక్ టుమారో.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, రైట్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
ఓకే.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
ఓకే.